What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my 1 year walk. I am spending every day reading a reading plan set out by 1 Year Through the Bible devotional. Gives me my reading plan for the day, and we are reading the Bible cover to cover in 1 year and posting a video every single day on what we read. So, with that out of the way, I'm glad you guys are here. Today's reading was Genesis 28, verse 10, through the end of chapter 30. And a little bit of recap. We just saw Jacob and Esau, and how Jacob basically kind of, the way he treated Esau wasn't super kind or nice. He kind of swindled his way into Esau's birthright. He also tricked his father, deceived his father into giving Jacob Esau's blessing. And he was kind of a little bit of a swindler, I guess, a little shisty. In this reading, he kind of gets some payback in a way. He was deceived. He was told in a dream that he needs to go to Laban, which is like his uncle, basically. So it was about, from what I was seeing in the study guide portion of the Everyday Study Bible that I've been using, it was about a 500-mile trip to get there. So when he got there, he was, he basically there was two sisters. There was Leah and Rachel. Leah was the older sister. Rachel was the younger sister. And he went to Laban, the father, and was like, in that day it was custom to give a woman's family something in exchange for the daughter's hand in marriage. And Jacob didn't have anything to give, so he basically kind of struck a deal with him and was like, look, I'll work for you for 7 years if you allow me to marry Rachel, which was the youngest daughter. And so Laban was like, sounds good. 7 years, we can do that. And it says that Jacob was so in love with her that it seemed like, that 7 years was a week. Like, it went by that fast because he was anticipating it that much. So on the night of the wedding, basically a big feast was prepared, and much like what Jacob had done with his father, who he went in kind of disguised as his brother Esau in order to get Esau's blessing. Laban took his oldest daughter, Leah, not Rachel, to Jacob, and in the morning when he woke up, he's like, wait a second, you're not who I thought you were. And he went to Laban and was like, what have you done to me? This is not what we discussed. I said I would work for 7 years to marry Rachel, and you've given me Leah instead. Well, long story short, basically Laban was like, well, it's customary in that in this land that I can't give you my youngest daughter until my oldest daughter is married. So you can be married for her, work for me for another 7 years, and I'll then let you marry my youngest daughter as well. So he's like, okay, fine, done. So he does that 7 years, and then it kind of gets into a little bit of Leah, had this child, and then she had this child, and then she had this child, and Rachel got jealous and was like, "Fine, take my maid, and have a child with her, so that it'll be like mine, because that was the tradition." And so basically, then Leah was like, "No, take mine." And guy ends up with like 4 wives and 12 children, and he's like, "Okay, let me leave. Let me take my wives and my kids and let me leave." And Laban was like, you know, uh, I see that I'm being blessed because the Lord is blessing me. God is blessing me because he's basically blessing you. So if you leave, my blessing leaves. So what if we strike another deal, and I'll let you work something out so where you don't have to leave. So Jacob kind of goes back into that swindler mode and says, "Okay, let me continue to be a shepherd of your flock and take care of your sheep and your whatever, and you can keep all the regular sheep out of the flock, and I'll just take the ones with weird and different markings that are not common." And so Laban, thinking, "Okay, that's fine. I'll take all the weird ones that I have right now and just move them, and then you'll just be stuck with good sheep. You'll not have marked one, weird marked ones." So Jacob kind of figured out that if he watered them a certain way, and he set up certain paths to where, okay, here's the weird ones. When it's time for this sheep to breed, he can only go down this path to the weird ones, so I'll only get weird ones. So he built up this kind of empire over time, and like I said, he kind of swindled his way and into an empire, but still made good on basically on his word that I would work for you, I would keep your sheep, but I get to keep the weird ones. Not telling him, well, I'm going to make sure that there's some weird ones in the flock. So it was kind of interesting. Again, not much takeaway as far as a lesson or anything like that, other than be careful who you swindle, because sometimes you can get swindled just as easily, like Jacob did, and then end up with like 12 kids, and you don't want that. That's a lot of kids, unless you do want that, and then hey, that's your business. But anyway, I am joking, of course. But yeah, it was an interesting read tonight. It did get kind of, back into, like I was saying in some of the previous videos, a little bit boring. He had her, and then she had him, and then him, and then him, and then this one had this one, and it was a little boring. But at the same time, some of the names that I'm reading, I'm like, oh, I remember that name from Sunday school, or oh, I remember that name from church. So I know that it's important, and I know that some of those names are going to pop up here probably pretty soon in the next couple readings. So I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. I hope you guys are excited too. I hope you guys are following along. I'm having a lot of fun with this still, so I appreciate the likes and the watches and the comments. If you guys are wanting to follow along but do more of the devotional side of it, like I said, I do have this 1 year through the Bible devotional. The link to pick one of these up is down in the comments below, or the description below, as well as a everyday study Bible. It's also in the description to go to grab one of these from the links. This thing is awesome. It's got a lot of extra stuff down below the verses. A lot of extra information that kind of helps explain some things especially if you're unfamiliar with some of the terms or why certain things are happening. That's a really good resource to have to kind of better explain things. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. And like I said, I really appreciate y'all tuning in and watching. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, because 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, there will be another video. Let me give you tomorrow's reading, because that's one thing we do all the time. Let me double check here just to make sure. It's going to be Genesis. We're going to start in Genesis chapter 31. And we're going to go to... all the way through 36. So chapter 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. It sounds like a lot, but there's really not that much. It's not a lot. Usually I do the readings about, it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes, just depending on how much I get sidetracked with reading some of the extra stuff in the study Bible. Like I said, I read through the devotional to see what the lesson they're trying to portray, which doesn't always make sense to me, but hey, it might to you. So like I said, go grab one. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.